Good morning. Well, I hope to get a couple of journals from the 5th, November 5th, recorded today. Um, they were delightful to have come through me, and I just read over them, and I think this is going to be fun. So this one is handed higher consciousness on a silver platter. It was the first journal of the day, and the day was 7 night or house. It comes to me just now that it is best, before connecting with the internet, to first connect with one's own energies via a quiet time. This I have often done through journaling, where I have learned much. If we are serious about getting to know the self, this is a good way. Also, it is wise to recognize that the energies flowing through the internet, both the technological and the intentional ones, as well as those using the net as a carrier wave for subliminal things, are not harmonious with our human energy field. In the coming age, this won't be a problem anymore. We won't need to use technology for these things. It's built into our biology. But until then, until all that DNA gets turned back on, it is well to just be aware. There's an invocation I make to the family of light, the great grouping of all beings of the light, before connecting to the net. And it goes like this. I call upon the family of light, asking to be surrounded in an impenetrable blanket of pure white light. As a sovereign being, I intend that this brilliance act as a barrier against any energies that are not of the highest order. And I ask that all unwelcome energies be bounced back to their source, as is appropriate to their evolutionary pace. I send my grounding cord into the below, dropping like an anchor deep within the body of the mother, as I hook solidly to the earth. And as I embark upon this journey, I ask that the light ones guide the way, infusing the grid with the light strings of the universe. That's how it goes. This is an interesting invocation in that it not only shields one, or rather one's physicality, but also acts as a mirror to return dark energies back to their senders, yet sensitive to the sufficient advancement of those senders as well. Pretty amazing. More than that, even, it is unusual in that it sends light strings into the grid of the internet itself, placed there by the light beings. As we look out into the pictures of the various nebulae, the constellations, and so on, we can see those light strings. And so they are perhaps electromagnetism functioning there. The universe isn't what we think it is. And so all computers that I connect with, those light strings flow out from my connection and bless everywhere I connect. Of course, I can't be crazy and go connecting to places where I'm going to pick up crap, but you know, anyway. All right, back to the journal. Thus, I am protected in all connections and contacts with other computers and individuals. The net is made secure and reasonably safe for this session of use. Now, I find it a most useful practice. And this invocation, along with two others I make regularly and I have shared, is taken from the Syrian Revelations by Patricia Corey and the Syrian High Council. Just FYI, I didn't invent it. Wise as serpents, yet harmless as doves. Interesting injunction. We are becoming aware that we are multi-dimensional. We have always been that, but were cut off from it for such a long time that it has faded back into myth. Yet now, in this age, we find how even the myths we have left to us hold often more truth than the official histories we are fed, than anything at all official. Remember, history's written by the winners, and the bad guys have been in charge for a while. Let us be careful to examine these things from heart, however, lest any resentment or anger erupt. That would only be to fall once again into the hands of the deceivers, only in yet another way. They have the place booby-trapped, you know, this dimension here all around Earth. Still, we're not boobies, and we're quite breaking out of all of it. So, no need for alarm or concern. Truly, as we maintain our space and heart, this itself is the victory for us. Nothing else is needed that won't be supplied from there. Just keep returning attention to your chest. That is all. The rest will just happen. You will see. Give it a try. Well, okay, I admit it does take the setting of intent as well, for without that, the mind will simply take over. It's so used to running the show that one does need to maintain an alert stance for a time. Still, that's not so difficult. It's just called being aware, being observant. It turns into a part of your joy anyway, no real challenge at all. You'll find out you're far more brilliant than you ever dreamed you were. The funny thing is, though, you don't find this out until you let go of running things. It seems rather backwards, and it often will. This road is paved with paradox, but that's quite okay. It's rather enjoyable, actually, this transcending of mind. Again and again, the mind will encounter things that make no sense to it. It will be stopped in its tracks. And those are some of the best moments we'll have, and that is until mind learns its new place, a place subservient to heart. That marks the end of an internal war of sorts, and a major one, that heralds the beginning of a consistent peace, the like of which man is unfamiliar with, simply due to being ever in mind. Sure, this is written about, the peace that passeth understanding, and that's nice. Still, that's just the mind's way of looking at it. To experience this is something else entirely. We have moments of it along the way, I think all of us do, when the mind is stunned, perhaps into momentary stillness by something, such as a Zen koan, or the Sufi saying that I like so very much, "These eyes through which I hoped to see God are the eyes through which God sees me." What can mind make of that? Do you see how that can stun and silence the mind for a bit? I jokingly say it pretzels the mind, which it does, and this is part of us extending out into our multidimensionality, where the mind cannot go. It is limited to 3D. Now, I will willingly admit that I don't have the view too far ahead of this. I know that what we think of as mind's functions don't go unfulfilled as we rise in awareness. Yet, as Einstein so famously said, to understand or resolve a thing, we must rise above it. And I haven't done that yet, risen above higher mind. So I can't fully report on this. I'm not much concerned with it, though. These things, they don't really matter. Have you reached the interior state where you see this yet? From heart, only the now exists. And this won't fit into these linear words, this experience. I can report, though, that perspectives get radically altered. Things that meant so much to you, maybe even hours before, now are uninteresting, unimportant as hell, actually. They somehow fade into nothingness. This is disconcerting at first, while you still retain both perspectives, how things used to be and how they are now. The now seems simply amazing. It puts you into a state of wonder at the fact that could happen. There's no understanding of how or why, just simply what is. You're in the midst of the now, of what is, and it's enough somehow. So you marvel and go on. From this higher perspective, and it's not that it's higher, that's just a word to use. Remember, not to get stuck in the words. The answers are not there. Stay in heart. So, from this higher perspective, as you turn your gaze to humanity, to various situations man is involved in, your perspectives are all new here once again. You are amazed at the calm way, the very solid and knowledgeable way you view things. That's a part of this as well. So, as you gaze on the things man is involved in, what you see so clearly is the polarization there, how that works, how it operates. You see the nonsense of it, and how it's only because man is trapped in a lesser consciousness that he can be manipulated that way. It makes no sense from this higher vantage point. It is seen to be clearly self-defeating, nonsensical.